Cameras rolling, and when you're ready.
Hello and welcome everyone to JungleCon. I am Jake Saratsian, and today we're super excited to have you here with us for Jungle Scout's first ever seller conference. Designed for both new and experienced sellers, this two-day virtual conference explores a variety of seller topics and features, exclusive presentations, tutorials, and insights from Amazon seller experts. JungleCon is your passport to all things Amazon, and we hope to equip you with the knowledge to upgrade your selling strategy and take your business to new heights. So without further ado, let's dive right in and introduce our very first speaker for today, which is none other than the CEO and founder of Jungle Scout, Greg Mercer.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Thanks, Jake. I could not be more excited about our first ever JungleCon. This has been a long time in the making, and myself and everyone at Jungle Scout is really passionate about education for entrepreneurs and small business owners. I think that passion stemmed from is I remember very vividly when I first became an entrepreneur and started my very first business. I went to college to be a civil engineer, got a job doing that when I graduated, and within like 2 weeks found out that I hated this job. It's pretty bad when on the second or third week you're already going in dreading your brand new job, which you're supposed to be liking. I remember I would spend like all day at work, and when I got home in the evenings, just searching around on the internet, like how to start a business or what the good opportunities were. And the one that I found that really worked well for me was selling physical products on Amazon. So I found my first product that I wanted to sell. I found a factory to make it, imported it from China to my house, and sent that first product in to Amazon. My first one, it wasn't a smashing success, but it did give me the confidence that I needed to know that I can make this happen. Why I was so intrigued by the Amazon FBA opportunity was it was super cool that they're already driving all the traffic to their website. So unlike starting your own e-commerce store or starting a business somewhere else where you have to figure out how to drive new customers to your product or to your business, Amazon already has all the customers there, which is an incredible thing. On top of that, unlike eBay, which is what I was comparing it to at the time, Amazon has the FBA program where they'll store your goods for you and then pick, pack, and ship it to the customer when somebody places an order. Because of this, you can do it from anywhere in the world, and I knew I wouldn't have to be in my garage every evening packing boxes and sending them off to customers. When that first sale came in, I was so excited. I still remember it to this day, and I remember that there was a path out of this job that I hated where I could become an entrepreneur. I was extra excited about this because I knew I could work from anywhere in the world running this company. At the time, I didn't really like where I was living, and I knew that I would like to do some traveling around. So my goal at the outstart of this business was to replace my income that I was making as an engineer so that I would have enough money to continue to live on, quit my job, and my wife and I were gonna sell all of our stuff and start traveling around the world. It took about 6 months to make that happen, but that's exactly what we did. After about a half year, I replaced the income that I was making from the job that I hated with selling physical products on Amazon. I quit my job, which was the second most exciting day of my life. And a few weeks later, my wife and I had sold all of our stuff and we hopped on a plane to Southeast Asia. We ended up actually traveling around for a total of 3 full years. And during that entire time period, I was building this business on Amazon. That's ultimately what led to the creation of Jungle Scout, but those early days as an entrepreneur for me were super, super exciting. It was thrilling to know that I didn't have a cap of where I could go in life, and that really the sky was the limit from there. We were getting to travel around to cool places. I was working as much or as little as I wanted each day, and times were really good. That was a really incredible time in my life. And I want all of that same thing for you. And maybe It doesn't look the exact same for how you would design your incredible life, but the reason I'm so passionate about education for entrepreneurs is so you can create that life that you really dream of. And that's really our goal of JungleCon, is to give you the content that you need to either get that business started or to take it to the next level, to design a life where you're living exactly how you want instead of how someone else is telling you. I remember a lot of the feelings that I had when I was starting that business. Earlier, I explained the excitement associated with it, but there was also a tremendous amount of self-doubt. I was very scared. I didn't think I'd be able to make this happen. I thought that maybe it was just a scam and that ordinary people like me wouldn't be able to create a business like that. And fast forward to today, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who are in similar spots, and that is a very recurring theme with all of them. They worry that, I don't know if this is going to work anymore. The market's probably too saturated now. I don't know if this opportunity still exists. The amount of self-doubt that they have, I could write an entire book about to try to list through all those things. And I imagine a lot of you watching this right now have some of those similar feelings. Am I right there? When you're thinking about what that ideal life looks like for you, I would encourage you not to use the monetary limitations or restrictions that you currently have on your life. What's so cool about being an entrepreneur is really the sky's the limit. You can go as high as you want. And oftentimes when people think, man, what does the perfect day look like for me, or the perfect month, or the perfect year, they still have those monetary restrictions that are associated with their current income flows, whatever that may be for you. Instead, really, the sky's the limit. You can grow these businesses to as large as you want. You can make as much money as you want from it. And through that, you can really design a life that is perfect for you. For some people, that might not be a lot of money and they might enjoy sitting on the beach a lot. Or for me, that meant hanging out in Southeast Asia where the cost of living was really low. But for other people, that might be a lifestyle that's very expensive. And the cool thing about it is that is possible for everyone. There's no limits on it, which is a really incredible thing. As you're listening to this, I would challenge you to be thinking to yourself, what does your ideal life look like? What are you doing right now that you don't like? Creating a successful business, what would that give you to be able to create that life that you really want to do? And I encourage you to be thinking about that as motivation throughout the rest of the JungleCon series. As I'm working with different entrepreneurs, a question that I very commonly get is Amazon still a good opportunity? Or what's the best business opportunity for me? Or how should I start a business similar to how you started a business back then, Greg? And I still honestly believe that selling physical products on Amazon is the best opportunity out of anything out there right now for starting a business. And this is for a few reasons. One, let's start by talking about the growth of e-commerce. COVID was a huge bump to e-commerce. E-commerce grew in a single quarter, the quarter that we all went into lockdown, into quarantine, as much as it had grown the past 10 years prior to that. So retail spend online in America was at roughly 10% of total retail spend. Once COVID hit, that jumped up to about 20% of all retail spend happens online. And the cool thing about it is that's continuing to grow year after year. So it's really accelerated the opportunity. So what does that mean? The awesome thing about e-commerce and selling on Amazon specifically is you can reach a very large amount of people, and you don't have to put in all of these upfront expenses to build a storefront or build a warehouse or create something for people to come to. Instead, Amazon's already created that for you, which is so awesome. There's literally millions and millions of people already going to Amazon every single day looking for products. And with that, all it comes down to is really you have to find what they're looking for and sell that to them. Now, of course, there are a lot of other opportunities in e-commerce. One that people commonly speak about is doing something like building a Shopify store. Now, I don't have anything against that, and if you want to do that, feel free to do so. But the really challenging thing about starting your own e-commerce store or your own Shopify store is there's no traffic already coming there. So it's up to you to learn things like Facebook ads or email marketing or creating content and getting it ranked on Google. And all these different marketing channels can be a lot more complicated to learn or to master compared to what it is to just sell on Amazon. On top of that, Amazon, whether you like it or not, is taking over the world, and they are the 800-pound gorilla of e-commerce. More than half of e-commerce sales already happen on Amazon, and their penetration into that market is continuing to increase year after year. So some people choose to fight it and choose to try to get those customers to go to other places or other websites. Me, I'd rather just embrace it. Instead of fighting kind of the inevitable, why don't you instead just sell where the customers are already going and already searching for products? So that's one of the reasons I think it's the best. The second reason is that Amazon does the vast majority of the hard work for you. We already talked about all the customers going there, but the other, let's call it the dirtier side of e-commerce, is all the warehouse related activities. You have to store all these goods and you have to put them into boxes and ship them to the customers, and you have to do that every day, and you need to do it quickly to make sure they're getting their goods on time. Well, Amazon takes care of all of that for you. They store the goods in their warehouse, they pick, pack, and ship it when an order comes, and they handle all of that for you. On top of that, they're also handling the vast majority of the customer support, so they're taking care of that, and a lot of just kind of the back-end systems required to run these e-commerce companies. So through this, you can realize the simplicity of creating a business on Amazon is so much higher than what it is to do something like create your own Shopify store. Now, the last reason that I really love the Amazon opportunity is just the ability to work from anywhere. Even if you're not like me and you don't dream of leaving and traveling the world while you're building or creating these businesses, it's still just really nice to be able to work for a few weeks while you're visiting your parents or a friend, or to move and not have to worry about leaving behind a company that you've created in a brick and mortar location. So with all those combined, I am very confident that my opinion is strongly that Amazon is the best opportunity out there right now for starting your business. A lot of people like to say, oh, it's too saturated now, or oh, that doesn't work anymore, or whatever else. And that couldn't be further from the truth. A little bit earlier, we talked about the jump of e-commerce demand. And with that, it's taken a long time for supply to catch up to that. And it's still not caught up to it. The result of that is 2020 was one of the most lucrative and profitable years for Amazon sellers, like since Amazon opened up their third-party marketplace. And that's still true today. And if you think about it, it makes sense because pretty much overnight, we had this large jump of e-commerce demand, and it takes much, much longer for the supply to catch up to that demand. If you can imagine, like twice as many goods being sold online. It's like, okay, so the factories have to create twice as much. We have to ship twice as much over primarily from China. There's all these aspects of the supply side of it that are much slower to catch up to the demand. And the result of that is right now is probably the best time to be selling on Amazon. And I've now been doing it for 9 years. And even 9 years ago, when it was an extremely young opportunity, I still don't think it's as good as what it is today. So really, right now is like the best time to be doing this. Hopefully you agree with me that starting a business on Amazon is the best model right now. And if you do, then it's time to start thinking about which opportunity on Amazon you want to take advantage of. And what I mean by that is it ultimately comes down to where you're sourcing the products that you're going to be selling to your customers. Since Amazon handles a lot of that more difficult work, like we spoke about a little bit earlier, one of the biggest things it is for the entrepreneur to figure out is what they want to sell. And let's start just by thinking about or talking about the different areas that you could source your products. You may have heard of the term retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, and what they mean by that is you go into stores like Walmart or Target or wherever else, or their websites, you find goods on clearance, and then you resell those on Amazon for kind of the normal price. Now, this is a pretty cool way to get started, kind of test out the platform, figure out how it all works, and a lot of people have made a significant amount of money from it. What I don't like, or the downsides of that opportunity, is that it's not real scalable, because you have to be the one out there searching through all the different stores, their different e-commerce sites, to find those goods to sell. And it's not like a steady stream. It's like you're finding something on clearance and there's only a few of them available. But it's a pretty cool way to get started. Another area to source products is through a traditional wholesale relationship. So you create a relationship with Nike, they sell you their shoes at the wholesale rates, you then send those into Amazon, and you sell those goods on Amazon. Now, 5 or 10 years ago, there were a lot of good opportunities like that because Amazon was still kind of flying under the radar, and a lot of these big brands or companies weren't selling directly on Amazon because they just weren't taking it seriously yet. Now, if you already have some wholesale relationships, let's say that right now you have a brick and mortar store and you source hot sauce from a few different good suppliers, then feel free to send those into Amazon and sell them like that. And that could be a good opportunity for you. The business model that I like best is commonly referred to as like the private label method. And what we're referring to here is finding these opportunities. So finding what customers are already searching for and already buying. Find a factory to make those goods for you, so you get them directly from the factory, which is the best rates possible. You then brand them with your own private label, or you're creating your own brand out of it. You're sending these goods into Amazon and selling them through their platform. Now, this is a little bit more time consuming or complicated to get started because you have to find the factory and you have to ship them typically from China. But from that, you're creating your own brand, which in itself is a valuable asset, and it's very repeatable and predictable. You know that that factory can always create more of these goods for you, and you don't have to be worrying about like going to Walmart or Target and always finding more goods there. The other cool thing about it is you don't have to compete with other people selling on the same listing. So on Amazon, how it works is there's only one listing for each SKU out there. So if you are selling Nikes and there's 10 other sellers selling the same shoes, you're all competing on the same listing. And the only thing to differentiate you with those other sellers is the price at which you're selling it at. With private label, when you're owning your own brand, if you don't sell it to anyone else, no one else is selling on that listing. And the result of that is you have much more control over your pricing. You're much more incentivized to create a really good listing that's going to convert well. And all around, it's just like the best long-term kind of sustainable business model to go after. And that's also why I preferred using the private label method. And you'll hear about that some more throughout JungleCon. I'm super excited about the lineup of speakers that we've put together for this JungleCon. Let's go over some of the things that you can expect to learn throughout this series. One, starting with the basics of product research. If you don't know anything about selling on Amazon, just trying to get started, or want to scale up your business, that's a fantastic episode for you to watch. We're then going to go into how to optimize your listing, talking about SEO and organic rank. We'll then go into how to avoid common seller mistakes and how to set up your business in the US. And keep in mind, you don't just have to live in the US to do that. You can set one up from anywhere in the world. Then we'll be talking about all about advertising and how to promote your brand on social media, how you can scale your business to $1 million. That's a really important one because I think all of us kind of put these limiting beliefs on ourselves and it seems like that's a lot. But what you'll realize is that anyone can do it, especially you. We'll have a live Q&A session where you can ask us anything and we'll be there to answer all of your questions. This might sound like a lot of content for you to absorb, and it is a lot of content, I'll admit that. But these all are action-packed videos. I would probably recommend something to take some notes, a pen and paper, or whatever you take notes on. And also keep in mind that you can go back and re-watch these videos whenever you want. If there's any piece that's kind of missing or unclear to you, Jungle Scout also has a tremendous amount of content on our website as well as our YouTube channel. We have content with about anything that you can imagine when it comes to all things related to Amazon, whether you're just getting started and getting that business off the ground, or you're ready to scale to $1 million, or even when you've already made it there and you're looking to scale to $100 million a year in sales. As you can probably tell, we have a whole bunch of very exciting sessions coming up soon. I know you're gonna enjoy them. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. I hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. As you can see, Amazon still provides a huge opportunity today. Now, if you're wanting to take those first very important steps, then make sure you join our next session where you'll learn how to build the foundation of your business by diving into product research and discovering how to find winning products on Amazon. I'll see you there.